Service error again for NC State. Sarah Jordan making her way back in. She will serve. From the middle, Cropper dug out by Jordan. Free ball to the back row. Cropper, that time connects. Billy Cropper with her 6th kill.
Billy Cropper has been doing a really nice job out of the middle this match for NC State. We have to remember that this is a player who didn't get a whole lot of action last season.
Only played in 27 sets last year, but part of the 355 hitting for NC State in the 4th set. That's really been the driving force throughout this 4th set. Starting out early on when South Carolina called their first time out, they were hitting at 571.
It's so hard to keep up with a team who's that efficient offensively.
Well, Brecht now back in set 3, but nonetheless, they've cleaned things up as this match has progressed. 3 points away from taking this match. From the middle, no luck from Elise Marshall. Smith, dug out. Far side, Hall, point Gamecocks.
Don't count the Gamecocks out just yet. This is a team who they're going to try and do everything they can to come back and force this thing to fight.
All Sarah Romy Noble can do is watch, using both for time. Cropper, no, sliding in. Side Johnson, dug out by Bryant. Smith rejected. And it was Ava Leahy and Elise Marshall, the App State transfers.
The block for South Carolina doesn't get much bigger than Ava Leahy and Elise Marshall up front. Great block by the Gamecocks.
Johnson, no, dug out by Villar. Bumps that to Smith. Oh. They're giving a point to the game, to the Wolfpack, excuse me. That was a great effort play made by Victoria Harris, though.
I mean, I'll say it time and time again. Victoria Harris is so fun to watch. 24 digs through 4 sets. She's been such a bright spot for South Carolina in this match.
Really going to make a challenge for Libero of the Year at season's end. Overpass, and Cropper was there. That makes it match point Wolfpack. Keeps the Gamecocks in it.
Elena Johnson saying not just yet, going off the hands of NC State, but great pursuit by setter Eliza Villar for the Wolfpack.
Serve. Game, set, match, pack. 25-17, and they win this match 3-1, improving to 5-1 on the year. And a win for the ACC. We'll welcome you courtside with our player of the match in Courtney Bryant. Courtney, a match-winning kill, your 16th of the night. Tell me, what was working for you out there on the floor?
All of our passers did really well. We had a lot of good looks, and both of the setters, Eliza and Ashley, setting us great. So we had a lot of open looks at the net.
You carried most of the load for your team tonight, but your freshmen in Jordan Smith and Rebecca Ring able to step up as well. How is it having those other attackers out there knowing they can get it done too?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, our bench is full, ready to go. All of our players are on it. So whoever comes in, we know we can take care of it, and we all trust each other.
It didn't matter Mullen or Eliza Villar. So tell me, when you're running a 6-2, I mean, what is it like when you're working with both of those two setters out there?
I mean, they make it pretty easy. They set us up, and we have trust. So that's all, really. We don't even pay attention to who's on. Like, they're going to deliver, and us Pins took care of it tonight.
A win for the ACC in this challenge. I got to tell, what was it like for you competing and participating in this showdown at the net?
Yeah, it's awesome, and also our fans here were awesome. So I'm super grateful for that and this team.
Well, thank you for your time forward this season, Courtney.
Thank you.
Courtney Bryant.
Nice job.
Way for NC State in this 4-set win over the South. 3 wins away from clinching the inaugural SEC-ACC showdown at the net. Once again, our final score in Raleigh, NC State 3, South Carolina 1. For Ainsley Clifford and our entire ACC saying thanks for watching. So long from Reynolds Coliseum.
Thank you. You may kiss the bride.
Love you, Dad.
Oh my God. It's our baby girl.
When life takes an unexpected turn, but work must go on, being prepared makes all the difference. 4 Patriots gives you backup power where it matters most. Solar generators that are lightweight, portable, and built tough enough to go wherever the job takes you. Go to 4patriots.com to claim your solar generator today.
And this is an important step for all our employees.
Blah, 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 blah.
Certain you're a mule?
Yeah.
Are you for imprint certain?
Oh boy.
Certainty matters. So when you need the right high-quality promotional products, printed perfectly and guaranteed to arrive on time, that's the certainty of 4imprint. Wow your clients, nail your next event, or inspire your team by visiting 4.
The prowl again, looking through for Kylie Maxwell was Lola Wrestler, who already has 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. Happy to have you with us now on the ACC Network with Casey White. I'm Joe Malfa. For these first few minutes of the game already, fastest goal of the season for Wake Forest for Miami, and then just 2.5 minutes later, Lola Wrestler found a looking play. Demon Deacons, number 18 team in the country, up 2.
What's really been impressive about this quick start is that both were not simple finishes. They were from about 16 yards and about 18 yards. Efficiency to be able to put them in. Really good build-up play, but you could have those opportunities and a finisher might not be able to put them away, but she certainly did.
Flanagan, one of the bright freshmen for Wake Forest again on her right foot. Lets it fly, had it blocked. Maxwell battling. She's hacked at by Ali Flanagan. Able to get it clear. Miami responded well to conceding that first goal. Had a couple of moments up in the attacking third of their own. But the next time down the field, Wake Forest will tally on a second.
And they're going to have to be really careful because you don't want this game to get out of hand, and they want to stay in this as long as possible, try to figure out a few things, not necessarily be conservative, but be really smart in your box organization and how you mark players.
Jessica Kay. Kay, block with the chest. Natalia Zadian. Change coming on here for Miami, so we'll show you how we got here. 2 goals in 5 minutes for Lola Wrestler.
Well, the first one came from the left side. Sierra Scythe getting forward. She hits it perfectly on that bounce for the half volley, keeps it low inside of the foot. And then just a couple minutes later, Kylie Maxwell off the opposite side finds a trailing runner in Lola Wrestler for another very good finish.
That opening goal was the 5th fastest goal in program history. The second goal made it the 2nd fastest back-to-back goals in rapid succession in program history. So 2 top marks there for Wake Forest in their rich history. Now this one slipped through. Trying to respond, Caroline Hood. Flag did stay down, cleared out for a Miami throw. Crosby Nicholson subbed on for Nanaka Inaba. Could understand a quick hook in a moment like that for Ken Masur. Just needed to change something after seeing the way this game started.
Definitely, and Crosby Nicholson, very technically gifted on the ball, good in the air, but also that holding midfield role. Lola Wrestler just won the foot race to the ball twice to be able to get those 2 goals, put her in a position. So those runners out of midfield have to be tracked, and I'm sure that's something that Ken Masur has said to Crosby Nicholson as she enters the game.
Simpson back for Sam Morella. Looking long for Jessica Kay, too long as Ken Masur's side is trying to regroup here. About 10 minutes in, down 2 goals, just in his 2nd year in charge of this program. Since 2011, their lone loss came on the road against Appalachia.
It has to be a disappointing start with how well they've done in non-conference play, but there is a just trying to settle your team, try to get that 1 goal back, and then don't want is to be able to concede again. So the back line has to be really stingy.
A 5-1-1 start again, the best since 2011. When they get tonight or in the coming games for Miami, it'll be the first time they since 2018. That just shows you how much of a struggle it's been for the Masur is trying to develop for the Hurricanes. Emerald capped at the U17 and U20 levels for the United States, including starts at the 2022 U17 World Cup. Sierra Scythe taking space to Allie Flanagan. Plenty of speed for Flanagan. Working on Maxwell. Flanagan delivering over Johnson. Cutting in. Effort toward goal is shanked wide by Aliyah Dawkins. First time had to call her name getting up into the mix.
That change of point from Brooke Miller is an area that Wake Forest can take advantage of just because of the diamond midfield shape of Miami. There's a little pocket of space on that opposite side. In 1v1 isolation, so those individual matchups are going to be huge for the Hurricanes.
Swinger Sent right back out her way. Does well to win it right back if she could keep it in. Out for a throw. Wake Forest coming off a 1-1 draw against Brown. It's a result that Tony DeLuz was overall happy with. He feels that Brown is likely to win the Ivy League, so in the long run, that'll look good on their resume when it comes time for the tournament. But he felt there were some things they rushed in the final third in the first half, and they turned some balls over early in the first half that put them in precarious positions. Casey, through nearly 15 minutes, they have not been rushed in the final third. They've nearly given nothing away in their own half.
That's a very good observation. You're exactly right on that. And honestly, that final third efficiency is one of the last things that is to come for teams. And just a couple weeks ago when I spoke to Tony DeLuz, he said the ball circulation needed to get better. Now it's about the final third efficiency. So Wake Forest is growing and evolving in the things that need to improve in their attack.
And one thing that has remained consistent, though, their defensive prowess from last year. 3 clean sheets. Pardon me, 5 clean sheets, 3 goals allowed. It's a .43 goals against average for Amaral in goal. She's on her way to breaking a record she set last year. Her record last year was .69 in the goals against average, and she's .26 better than that this year, some way, somehow.
It's pretty unbelievable, only the 11 goals against in regular season last year for Wake Forest. A lot of that has to do, of course, with the play of Amaral, the back line, but also with how Wake Forest likes to possess. The more you have the ball, the less opportunity you give it to your team, to your opposition, excuse me, to be able to penetrate and generate chances.
Miami coming off a 2-0 victory over crosstown rivals FIU. A game that was physical. It really had to do a lot with athleticism, and it was a battle that Ken Masur was happy to see his team rise up to. But again, knowing this would be another step up into ACC play against the reigning runners-up. Johnson works it back. MC Brown switches.
There's an immediate look to change the point, and you're noticing that right away. When you play against a diamond in midfield, that's certainly what's been told to Wake Forest, to try to get out of that initial pressure, and they're doing it immediately.
This is something else that Ken Masur warned against for his Hurricane side. Felt they conceded too many fouls against FIU, and as they step up in competition, ACC teams would be more likely to punish them on these set pieces. First one on a free kick now for Wake Forest.
Watch out wide, watch out wide. Ava, get a runner. Sam, free player, free player, extra free player. Hey, hey. CT4, CT4.
It'll be Sierra Scythe coming over to take this one. Redshirt sophomore from Long Beach, California. 2 goals, 3 assists coming into the day. Her best service. Kept alive though. Dawkins back to side. Brooke Miller. Fed through, flag stays down, going for goal. It's Kylie Maxwell. And pushes it wide already with 2 goals.
Really good vision though from Dempsey Brown. It was wonderful. Slip pass. It's the first touch that lets down Kylie Maxwell just a little bit. But even if she had gone a little bit to her left foot, which would have been the right touch, there was still a close defender there to try to close down. But really nice play to try to thread the needle there.
Attended youth national team camp from the U17 up through the U19 level. We got her twin sister on the opposite side here tonight, wearing number 14, Taylor Maxwell. Kylie was the 2025 Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year. Dynamic duo they have up top. Allie Flanagan on the left side, Kylie Maxwell on the right side. It's given away here by Amaral, but recovered quickly. Those 2 freshmen on either flank for Wake Forest. The only issue right now in the mind of Tony DeLuz is they're playing a little bit too fast. They both have speed to burn. They're both terrific in terms of their off-ball work and the pressure and the work rate that they're willing to put in. But they need to slow things down a little bit. It'll help their decision-making in those crucial moments. As Kay comes through, slides it through. It's off the foot of Bree Severance, who was offside.
And you mentioned that about the forwards from Wake Forest. That is so typical when you come in your freshman year because you're trying to speed up because the speed of play is faster at the collegiate level. But then it's knowing the moments to slow the game down, be a little bit more composed. And that can only come from experience. And they're gaining experience very quickly here in their 2025 season.
Mellenhurst forcing her way through on goal, chip toward the far post, but wide. Tegan Mellenhurst, terrific freshman on the other side for Miami, showing herself for the first time here tonight.
Well, this was really nice defensive effort in the wide area. They get an overload defensively, are able to step and press with that tackle right there. Then Mellenhurst plays a nice ball in combination to get it back in the wall pass, takes on past one defender, tries to chip Amaral just a little bit because she knows she's going to go down. Not a bad idea from the freshman attacking midfielder.
Mellenhurst again pressuring from Ottawa. A long way away from home here at Miami. Started every game, though, for Canada at the U20 CONCACAF Championship earlier this year. Fed through now for Kylie Maxwell. Just leaving her defender in the dust. Maxwell deflected by the keeper, Brennick. And it's wide for a corner. That close to Kylie Maxwell's third goal of her freshman season.
And that's what she can do. She can test back lines vertically. We already saw that she can get into crossing positions, but she also is an available option from direct play. And this ball gets played over behind with simplicity, a split ball, good first touch, which puts Jessica Kay in a really tough position. But give Brennick a lot of credit in that moment. Strong gets the deflection, and it goes wide.
Oh, that was certainly and went wide. Now quick from the corner, set towards goal, but over the bar from Amaya Dawkins. Terrific save that from Emily Breddick to just keep this 2-0. Our next women's soccer match here on the ACC Network is tomorrow as number 3 Stanford takes on Clemson, who open their home conference schedule at historic Riggs Field. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern, also available on the all-new ESPN app. Stanford were number 1. They lost. Now Tennessee ascends to the number 1 spot. But the ACC once again leading the way, 17. The latest rankings update, including Wake Forest here at number 18.
Now it's part of the conversation we had with both of these coaches. They're very happy with where their teams are right now, but you just never know until you get into ACC play how effective it's going to be because it's such a gauntlet of games that all of these programs have to go through.
Miami is learning that here tonight. Again, just the second season for Ken Masur. They get out to this terrific 5-1-1 start through non-conference play and a free kick on the way here. But this is certainly a step up in competition. And you just see it in one stat that's already a bit eye-catching. Wake Forest averages 10 shots per 90 minutes. They already have 7 in 20 minutes. They are getting after Miami here in the early going with 2 goals already.
They really are, and the really hard part for Miami is that it's just about tracking of runners for the actual 2 goals, but you also have to give Wake Forest credit because they've definitely been on the front foot. They have willing runners going forward. You just hope those don't turn into clear goals, and they certainly have tonight.
Lumped in from the free kick for Miami, bouncing around, cleared by Zadian. As Flanagan opened down the left side, tries to dribble past Jessica Kay. Those two have been battling all night long. Kay, the sophomore from Ridgewood, New Jersey. And the flag once again comes up on Bree Severns.
But I don't mind that from Bree Severns because now that back line has to worry a little bit about the fact that you're looking to penetrate behind. So perhaps they do drop a little bit. It allows more space for Mellenhurst potentially to be able to occupy in that half space between the midfield and defenders. That can help your attack as you go throughout the game.
For Amaral, pressured by Severns. Starting to perhaps ratchet things up a little bit, getting numbers forward in the attacking half, and it's working for Miami. Taken away by Crosby Nicholson. Nicholson looking ahead for Severns, doesn't get through. Mellenhurst picks it up. Tegan Mellenhurst lays it back. Ava O'Mahony along for Jessica Kay. O'Mahony, a good veteran presence in the midfield. If the name sounds familiar for college soccer fans, she's been here before, but not last year. She started her career in the ACC back in 21 and 22 at Boston College. Spent a year at Texas in 2023. Went back home to Ireland last year to play in the top flight of women's football in Ireland for her hometown club. Retained her year of eligibility, still an amateur, comes back now for her final season, perhaps at Miami.
And this is important to have on a team like Miami that's not as experienced. That's a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, but to have someone that's experienced a lot of different avenues of playing soccer and being involved in big games. So that's a player that can really help them as they go through these ups and downs of a season.
And he stays right on the line. You saw Caroline Hood try to play it off of Sierra's side, but it's out for a goal kick. MC Brown trying to play Hannah Johnson all the way back for Emily Bredick, who we may only see for 22 more minutes, by the way, for Miami. They have been consistent every game this season, swapping their keepers at halftime. It's Emily Bredick who starts the game, and then Atlee Olofsson, the transfer from Notre Dame, who comes in at halftime. Talk a bit more about that in the second half, if and when they make that change.
We need to get our runners. Let's go. Come on.
Emily Bredick, a terrific goalkeeper in her own regard. Transfer this year from Old Dominion. Back-to-back years, 23 and 24. She was the Sun Belt Goalkeeper of the Year. And there is Olofsson. We're going to expect to see at the start of the second half.
And both of those goals were just really great finishes as well. Nothing really that Bredick could do. She made the save she needed to make on the last one from Kylie Maxwell, but kept low and put in the corner in the first one. Just really nothing they could do because nobody around Lola Ressler for the finishes.
And that big save she made a few moments ago when Kylie Maxwell came through alone. Could have easily been 3-0 there. And out for a corner. Big save from Bredick to keep it 2-0. 3-0 feels like a different conversation and a different mountain to climb. 2-0, you still feel like you're in this thing.
Well, that's definitely something Tony DeLuce is going to be saying to his team throughout this first half, and even as they go throughout the game. If you get a third goal, it really makes the game pretty much out of reach unless something absolutely crazy happens, because that is a hard one to overcome. But at 2-0, still one goal changes the game, and Miami could feel like they're right back in it.
Although you can never count anything out. If I had a nickel for every time this year that I've had a game start like this, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Earlier this year with Patty Foss on ACC Network on the men's side, it was Michigan State and Pitt. It was 3-0 Pitt around this juncture, and then it finished down to the wire. Still a 3-2 win for Pitt. So just because you think a game is out of reach, it never really is in the world of ACC soccer.
Well, Miami will be happy to hear that you've already experienced that, being down 2-0 for sure.
If it happens again, I'm the good luck charm, apparently, and the coaches who take the leads will no longer want me on the games. Okay. Starting to find more rhythm on the ball, Miami, and more time on the ball. Ressler, who has both goals, finds Maxwell. Kylie Maxwell trying once again to burn by Jessica Kay. Does, delivers to the back post. Flanagan took an awkward angle. Has to recycle it through side. Sierra's side. Johnson, it's an awkward one for Bredick to do it. She wasn't quite sure if that was going over the bar by itself, but did well in the end to keep it out.
Well, you can tell that Kylie Maxwell wants to go inside, but there's so many numbers inside for Miami, so she takes on in that wide channel. Incredibly effective. What I'm impressed with so far is the organization to get second chance opportunities, though. That's why Hannah Johnson's able to get that potential opportunity, because there's organization on the backside of crosses as well. So you see Kylie Maxwell going off the right, but Allie Flanagan, Sierra Seither off the left. If anything comes through, that just increases your chances if you're Wake Forest in and around the penalty area.
And it goes back, Casey, to our conversation from earlier with Miami's diamond shape in the midfield. A lot of the spaces are on the flanks, which in a way plays into the hands of Wake Forest. Their 4 most dangerous players, Sierra Seither and Allie Flanagan down the left wing, Brooke Miller and Kylie Maxwell down the right wing.
It really does. You're right, Joe. And it's that last one where Sierra Scythe puts it in and it almost goes in. Bredick times it perfectly to make sure that doesn't bounce in. It looked like it was going over the top, but it certainly wasn't. Bredick does a great job to make sure that's not a third goal. But I think you're right. If Miami doesn't want those wingers to become a factor, they have to hold possession in the center of midfield. That allows their outside backs to get forward. And now Maxwell and Flanagan would have to be defending rather than running at you. And that's certainly something that Miami would prefer, but they have to establish the possession centrally.
I was just about to ask you what the alternative is here for Miami. Is it a formation change to lock down the flanks, or is it simply keeping more of the ball? And you answered it there.
And I think you could go with a system change, but I would assume that Kim Masur is going to say, why don't we try to get more possession, because we've had some success with it. If they can't solve it, then maybe at halftime they go in and think of something different tactically that they can do.
Yeah, the game for Miami. Number 3, Noel Simmons. Number 16, Sarah Trainer. And number 17,
here coming now
Flynn.
for Miami. Noel Simmons coming on up top. Also Moira Flynn for Caroline Hood, so changing both sets of players up there. And then Sarah Greiner in there for Ava O'Mahony in the attacking midfield. So it's an attacking-minded triple change here for the Hurricanes. Moira Flynn comes in with 1 goal this season. Noel Simmons a goal as well. And Sarah Greiner has 1 goal. So the 3 of them come in each with a goal. It's a little bit of a punch packed off the bench by the Hurricanes. As you and I touched on coming on the air, Sierra Alarcon has done a good job coming out of the midfield to score a couple of goals this year, provide 3 assists for Miami. It's just a question of where the other goals would come from. And it's really been by committee so far. And 3 members of that committee sub in at once.
It has been, and I like this sub from Kim Masur because they want to go for it.
Kylie Maxwell going for it now, cutting it back. Maxwell delivering, pounding around. Lola Wrestler lurking again. If she finds a hat trick, she'll be just the 11th in program history with a hat trick.
Much better defending, though, from Miami. You could see the numbers they had in the box compared to when they gave up the 2 goals. When they conceded those 2 early goals, there were only a couple defenders there, no one tracking from midfield. This time, more numbers back, making sure that there's not. But now that they have possession, I would keep it if I were them. Continue to move and see if you can get those new front runners and midfielders involved in the attack.
Given away off the back line by Miami, taken in that part of the midfield by Brooke Miller. Now Dempsey Brown. I've been dealing with a knock and not been 100% and missed some time after starting 4 games, Dempsey Brown. We're happy to get her back in the mix here tonight. All ACC freshman team back in 2023. Backed it up with a solid season last year. A position change, though, this year, stepping up off the back line into the midfield, which, again, as we touched on earlier, that was the plan all along from Tony DeLuz. Just knowing the way his team was stacked and structured for players that would graduate over the last couple of years. They wanted her on the back line for 2 years, then eventually move her up into the midfield, and she is thriving in that role this season.
She really is. She brings some experience there and just the ability to play make out of that position. But I think there's something really nice about a simplistic holding midfielder that gets the ball, moves the ball, and wins the ball. And that's what you want, and that's what Dempsey Brown can definitely bring to this group.
Di Natale. Side. Flanagan turning her defender. Taylor Maxwell switching it. Looking for Hannah Johnson, intercepted by Jessica Kay. Space for Jessica Kay.
That's well done, finding the opposite side, though, for Miami. When you get your outside backs going forward, you have a natural overload.
Alarcon denied by Zadian. Pressure again. Noel Simmons crashing in. Alarcon there as well. Finally cleared to safety by the Demon Deacons. Right back onto it, though, for Sarah Greiner.
Sarah Greiner and Alarcon have to have a more defensive positioning. So now that then means that your outside backs of Taylor Maxwell and Jessica Kay can get higher. That allows you to pull Wake Forest players out of their shape to try to gain territory when you're in possession.
Miami trying to find a way back into this one offensively while trying to keep things more structured defensively. They gave up those 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of this game. They're only averaging 6.6 shots per game allowed this season, but we've talked about it. It's a big step up in competition tonight. We've already blown by that in the first half. 8 shots allowed tonight after allowing under 7 shots per game so far this season. Emerald, dangerous one to play through, and it's allowed to play on. Our referee, Nicole Green, it seemed like she was going to blow the whistle, and it seemed like Wake Forest was anticipating the whistle. They were bailed out there by Miami trying to go quick. Otherwise, it could have been a walk-in opportunity.
I love the confidence to play out of the back. They're trying to build those diamonds in that area to be able to play out. Just not the right time to do so with so much pressure of Mellenhorst on the back of Dempsey Brown. It has to, if you're going to play it, it has to be something she can hit first time. Yes, maybe a little bit of a foul, but there's some opportunities to maybe play a little bit wider when they're under that immense pressure.
Maxwell runs into Amaya Dawkins, rescued by Alarcon.
Wilson's dropping between the 2 center backs. That also allows Jessica Kay and Matt for Miami. They're able to get in an advanced position just like right here. Where if there's a better touch there, now Allie Flanagan's having to defend in her own area. That's better for the Miami Hurricanes.
Minutes remaining here in this half. Out for a Wake Forest throw, and here come 2 changes for the Demon Deacons. The applause are here for Sophie Fairclough. Missed the last 2 seasons due to injury. Great to have her back out there after she burst onto the scene. All freshman team in 2020, greeted warmly by all her teammates as she comes onto the field.
Well, this is so nice to see. Just a fabulous player that's had a really tough road. To see her back out here and playing, you can see what it means to the fans, to the team, and she can certainly help and impact this 2025 team.
We saw there November 12th, 2022, her last appearance. We are 2 months away from that being 3 years ago. A long time has passed since she last took the field for the Demon Deacons. Also, Chloe Burst comes on up top for Hannah Johnson. It was Brooke Miller sacrificed for Sophie Fairclough. Taryn Chance for Allie Flanagan. Allie Serlanga for Sierra Alarcon on the other side for Miami. We have a special ACC Network Friday Night Lights football matchup for you. The Empire State rivalry game between Colgate and Syracuse. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern. Also available on the all-new ESPN app. Corner here for the Hurricanes. They can take one here before halftime. It would make things feel a lot different in the locker room in that conversation in 10 minutes time. Floated in, back post. Comes out, volley toward goal on a traffic in front, doesn't make it through. Dug out, well done defensively by Taryn Chance. Still Chance carrying. Maxwell defending tightly. Chance gets by. Chance delivers. Did it take a deflection? It did. Out for a Wake Forest corner.
Well, just like you said on the opposite side, corner kick, set piece is really important. You know Wake Forest is going to be just as hungry as Miami to try to put this game as much out of reach as possible. So going into halftime, making sure their runs are organized, the services, the trajectory they want will be important.
Wilson takes the spot of Amaya Dawkins. A lot of traffic in front. Comes through for wrestler, save made. Ball loose on the doorstep and cleared. Here's Wrestler want to get there for Bredick, but she will. So crisis averted for Miami, nearly down 3-0.
Well, this was flicked onto the back post by the defender, Emily Simpson. It falls to Lola Ressler, who's going for that third goal. It's blocked by Bredick. Chloe Burst. Second chance opportunity. Good organization from Wake Forest, though, for multiple chances.
Taken by side, given away by 8 to go. Maxwell wins it back. That's a good bit of play from the freshman. Player inside does well to win it right back for the Hurricanes.
Well, this is good for Miami here, just to settle a little bit into possession. They're committing 2 or sometimes 3 players around Kylie Maxwell. That's how effective she has been when she gets time on the ball. So when they do that, they're able to set possession a little higher here and then go into the final third.
Just a wall of gold jerseys there. So compact defensively. Try from a distance maybe to unlock things, but that one well off target. Nearing the end of this first half, and still nothing conceded by Miami, who have 5 clean sheets in 7 games this year, in case you're seeing why. Everything just so compact defensively.
It really is, and they have to focus on that. These last 7 minutes, yes, if they can get a goal, even better, but get into halftime at 2-0 at the worst, then you can get with your coaching staff and figure that out. But their defensive side, besides those first 5 minutes, has been much better, much more efficient in the way they play in 1v1s and the way they're covering.
Giselle Akgol comes in, giving Tegan Mellenhorst a breather in the heart of the midfield. For Noelle Simmons, covered by Griner. 6 minutes to try and change the attitude around this game for Miami after falling behind 2-0 in the opening 5 minutes of play. And Maxwell fronted. Back to Maxwell. Starting to let some shots fly, Miami. 6 of them, just 1 on target. And now they have their second corner. This is where they do a lot of their damage typically from the corners. They average nearly 8 per game. This is just their second here tonight.
Well, they're getting their outside backs higher, and even if they lose possession, there's more numbers around the ball to gain it back immediately. That's setting them up again then to earn this corner kick.
Ali Serlanga, transfer from Clemson, with the in-swinger coming. Backed up against that brick wall on the far side. Curls it in toward the back post through traffic. And there was an opportunity there at the back post, but just beyond the reach of Crosby Nicholson.
This is a great ball into the backside of the 6-yard box, and Simmons goes up for it. Crosby Nicholson really off, not able to connect, but a really good service for the corner kick.
Turn by Chloe Burst. Maxwell back for Fairclough. Poked away by Taylor Maxwell. Retrieved on the opposite side by Sierra. Curling and gathered by Bredick. Simmons tried to get on the same page with Moira Flynn. She ran left, ball went right, and Wake Forest able to clear. Another change being ready here for the Demon Deacons, and it's an opportunity to remind you that Saturday morning the ACC Huddle Crew will be in Atlanta at another full day of football with a 2-hour pregame show. We'll have game previews along with expert analysis and featured stories on the ACC network and the all-new ESPN app. Kylie Maxwell, overlap coming from Faircloth, fed that way. It was Wrestler, the goal scorer, who has both of them, who came out for Alejandro Gomez. As Faircloth works end line, feeds it toward goal. Did it take a deflection? It did. A corner for the Demon Deacons.
It's becoming increasingly obvious that they have the green light, the outside backs, to go for Wake Forest. Sophie Faircloth with a great run to get around Kylie Maxwell to generate this opportunity.
Sierra Scythe comes over. Take the corner once. Wake Forest Demon Deacons, number 18 team in the country, whipped in. On the backside. Maxwell. Secondary effort here. Headed clear by Morella. As Gomez, who just subbed on.
Get up! Get up!
Jessica Kay taking her space. Kay, through the massive bodies, almost came away with it. Under 2 to play now in this first half.
Well, I think it's encouraging for Miami seeing Jessica Kay start to get involved in the attack. What has to happen is they have to possess centrally to give them the time to get higher up the field. But as this half goes on, you're starting to see that a bit more and more from the Hurricanes.
Seconds to go in this first half. Tony DeLuz obviously has to be happy with the way this first half has gone. But Casey, how displeased will Ken Mercer actually be? Because it feels like, and again, it was a big first 5 minutes, but if you put your hand over those first 5 minutes, the second 40 haven't been bad for Miami.
They really haven't, but you'll be extremely disappointed when you come in to start ACC play and you give up the goals in the way that they did and that quickly. So that will certainly be a message, but I think he will say, hey, we're in this. We settled in, we figured some things out. Now we just got to make some changes, but you've got to bring that energy and passion from the very beginning, and they were punished for it. But I think he can talk about the tactical things that they can do to potentially hurt Wake Forest in the second half, and that they're still in it.
Yeah, after those first 5 minutes, settle in, 7 shots, a shot on target. They haven't had any clear-cut, genuine, dangerous opportunities. And they've been a second-half team this year. 8 of their 13 goals in the first 7 games have come in the second half. So that's a bright spot to look in the locker room at the break.
Nothing! Let's go!
10, 9,
Launched long by Faircloth. Countdown begins from 10. So one last chance in this for the Demon Deacons. Just clear to the sideline. They'll do it for this first half with the Demon Deacons leading 2-0 on the Hurricanes.
Wake Forest 2.
It was really good first half. Good start from Wake Forest, starting extremely quickly and putting it away. Sometimes you get early chances, but you don't put them away, and they were certainly able to through Lola Wrestler.
She finds both of those goals in the first 5 minutes of this game. Might be settling in a little bit thereafter, but it very easily could have been another goal or two tacked on by the Demon Deacons. We're standing by now with Wake Forest head coach Tony DeLuz, coach Joe Malfa, Casey White up in the booth. We spoke a lot this week about Lola Wrestler and the jump she's made this year from not playing last year to being a focal point this year. And on cue, she scores 2 early goals. What can you say about her first half?
I mean, you can't say too much. Like, the kid is, she's so hungry right now to make a statement, and coachable kid. You know, we told her to get in the box, she gets in the box to finish. So, you know, she's been fantastic.
2-0 lead going into the half. You've been in this position before. What's the main message to the team going into halftime?
Well, we got to keep the ball better. It's not, we're complicating things, and we're playing for the other team at times. And we just got to find our switches and keep our spacing, keep things simple. We're complicating it from the back, and putting ourselves in bad positions. So we got to keep the ball longer and capitalize on our chances. We've had some good balls. We got to be switched on.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yep.
A 2-0 lead for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons over the Miami Hurricanes, number 18 team in the country, flexing their muscles here on the opening night of ACC play. More to come from Spry Stadium. Of that first half. So Casey, if you're coming out here, the Hurricanes, you need to start this second half better than you started the first.
It's critical. That first 5 minutes, try to set a precedent that it's going to be different in this 45 for this Miami Hurricanes team. So that's something that I'm sure was addressed by this coaching staff at halftime.
They're looking for their third ACC road win since 2021. Wake Forest looking for a 10th straight match, unbeaten here at home. They're 4-0-1 at home this season. We are standing by now with Miami head coach Ken Masur. Coach, it's Joe Malfa, Casey White up in the booth. First 5 minutes, of course, what happens, but how did you like how your team settled in the 40 minutes after that?
Yeah, man, I think, couldn't have gotten any worse the first 5 minutes, like you mentioned. I mean, it's, I think our press, once we set it and once we started settling down, I think our kids had a lot more presence about them. But, again, when you're turning a team over in their own 25, 30 yards away from goal, we have to have a bit of composure when we win it and go to goal. And I just don't think we had enough of that in the first half.
And, Coach, what critical element of your play do you think is going to be essential in this second half to turn the game around?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna still come out and we're gonna try to put it to them a little bit. Again, we want to be a team that's going to be on the front foot and force teams to try to play against us, and do what they do. And unfortunately, that didn't work for us in the first half. But we're going to still come out and try to press and try to turn them over in their half and see if we can be a little bit more composed in their 18-yard box.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half. Ken Masur in his second season as the Miami head coach. You saw 8 of their 13 goals this season have come in the second half. And for a team that is, you can sort of expect some of these growing pains here early in this season. Game, Casey, has maybe felt like a microcosm of the season so far, where it takes them a little bit of time to get into it. Whenever you're bringing this many new players onto the same page, there are going to be some difficult moments.
Anytime there's roster turnover from graduation, whether it's transfers, whatever it may be, players coming in as fresh, condensed season, that it can be really difficult, but you start to see things click as they go, and you're going to have moments like this. No one goes through a season unscathed, so you have to figure out how to use all of these talented players that you brought in to be successful.
This is a team that, beyond the transfers, also has a bevy of freshmen who they've worked in. This is year 2 of this new system under Ken Masur, and it's a massive undertaking that he's got here. In their program history, only 5 NCAA tournaments made. The last one came in 2012. Certainly plenty of talent in Florida. You look to some of the other schools in the state, and as far as the ACC moniker that's attached to the school, best conference in college soccer, this feels like it could be a sleeping giant. He's laying that foundation. He's attracting the transfers and the freshmen, but a difficult test and a dose of reality perhaps here tonight in the opening night of ACC play on the. And we are underway now in half number 2 with Wake Forest leading 2-0 over ACC Network with the former national teamer Casey White. I'm Joe Malfa. Back into the match now, subbed off toward the end of that first half, feeds the ball through. Goal save made by Emerald. That's the response Ken Masur was looking for.
That's exactly it. Bree Severance gets on full turn, goes at speed, and then O'Mahony comes really close. This is a nice little slip ball. Brooke Miller bites the outside back to step. She plays behind in the space, and that's what Valentina Emerald can do for you. When you have a goalkeeper that can make the critical save, it's so important, and that's what she does right there.
Swinger from the corner, Emerald's there, traffic in front, bobbled it for a second. There was a chance to swipe at it for Sierra Alarcon, but just missed.
Well, Kim Masor has to be encouraged just from the start of it went down into their end. They figured out how to get it to the other side quickly. And you were mentioning about his program. He's brought a lot of players in. People want to play for him. They've taken really positive steps. They beat teams this non-conference that they hadn't beaten in the past since he's been there. So taking positive strides. Now it's how do you make that effective in ACC play? And you heard him say it. It couldn't have started much worse for them throughout that first half.
Yeah, that immediate chuckle from him once we started asking what personality. Very happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Serious when he has to be to this group. Like they have the right guy in charge here. Because, look, it's not something that's going much time as we did at halftime, just going down the list of the top teams in this conference. 7 total teams in the top 25 every single night. It's a gauntlet in this conference. It's tough. And there's no forgiveness from the other teams as they're trying to build a program. So they're going to need his guiding touch to get through all this.
100% ways to win and bringing in winners and proven winners that can do that. And that's something he's doing and bringing in players with experience.
Floated toward goal here. It drifts wide. And Amaral pulls her hand out of the way at the last moment, realizing where she was with the goalkeeping there.
And Tegan Mellenhorst to be on the ball a little bit more. She did some good things in the pressing shape for on the ball will be something that will be helpful for them because she's so good with tempo and rhythm and dictating that even as a freshman.
6 of the last 7 shots in this one now have come from Miami. Goes back to that just whole notion of the response they've shown after conceding twice in the first 5 minutes. Side. All the way back for Amaral. Pressure coming again. Amaral just hits it.
Well, if that doesn't show confidence in your goalkeeper, I don't know what does, because they obviously know she is good with her feet. It wasn't a bad decision to go back. And yes, Bree Severns was looking to press, but it's so helpful to have a goalkeeper like that that is so comfortable with their feet. It feeds into the way that Wake Forest likes to play in this sustained possession. Just able to help them do that and get in more advanced positions.
First time really that Wake Forest have brought it down at this end of the field in the opening moments of this second half. At that point, it was just about 2-0 already, Wake Forest.
Well, something that's really interesting is when you have this type of lead, you don't have to push the point. You don't have to go forward all the time. You can settle in possession, but it's a fine line because that third goal would make things so much easier for them and provide Miami Hurricanes team. So I would think Tony DeLuce probably told him also at halftime, still, let's enjoy the ball a little bit more. To his point, they're giving it up in certain areas that he didn't feel they needed to, and that can maybe pick apart the defensive unit of Miami.
And one of the other big conversations we had with Tony DeLuce was how important the start was to this game tonight. He said of Miami, they haven't had the toughest schedule yet. He didn't mean that in a disparaging way. He understands that you need some games like that on your schedule early to give you confidence, because confidence. So they got those wins early, but he addressed it with his side that you want to take that confidence away early. Don't give them any chance to feel like they have life in this game. They did just that with those 2 goals.
You want to snap that belief that they could possibly get as staying in the game or even getting a goal against you. The longer teams stay in games that haven't necessarily gotten those types of ACC wins, the harder it can become. And so they obviously took that very seriously with the way they started on the front foot. Sometimes you start that way and you're not rewarded with goals. It's not the best finishes, but Lola Ressler made sure that they were rewarded on the end of all of their crosses.
They had 8 shots in the first 26 minutes of this game, Wake Forest. 1 shot in the 25 minutes since then. And as you said, they've done the hard work. They've gotten the 2 goals. Now it's very good at defending, Wake Forest, and all the clean sheets they had last year. As a team, that's at .43 this year, so somehow they've already improved upon that.
But you can also see some frustration just a minute ago from Tony DeLuce on the sideline with little balls trickling out of bounds, and what he said right before halftime to us as well was it's just not clean enough on the ball, and that's going to be a really tough second half if they don't secure possession, because that can be the best form of defending, is just to keep the ball circulated, not give Miami the chance to settle into possession. And
Johnson Dempsey Brown. Brooke Miller getting ahead. Allie Flanagan. Where we saw Kylie Maxwell in that first half. Staying on the left after the halftime substitutions. Feeds it through. Some space here for Alarcon. Alarcon mark for the bottom corner.
Really good change of point from Miami as well. They're being more comfortable in possession going forward and finding the opposite side. Really nice build-up play in general.
Free kick given here for Wake Forest. It was nearly a goal to cut into this lead for Hurricanes.
Severance finds some space, and Alarcon's on this far side. Just not enough power to get past Amaral. I like that she looked to go for that far post area low. Just has to have a little bit more zip on it to be able to get past the goalkeeper.
In the game for Wake Forest, number 2, Amaya Dawkins, number 14, Lola Resler, number 20, Hannah Johnson.
Well, Resler comes back in, had the 2 opening goals for Wake Forest, getting a lot of those starters back out there now. After they started the second half with a breather, Carly Wilson comes off, Amaya Dawkins, a starter back out there. And Kylie Maxwell for Taryn Chance. That'll send back over to the left side now, Allie Flanagan. Well, Kylie Maxwell will take her spot on the right side, and Hannah Johnson back in for Chloe Burrs. So a quartet of changes, getting starters back out there for the Demon Deacons. Trying to capitalize right away here. Fed centrally toward Dawkins.
Again, it's these cutback crosses that are causing the 4 central midfielders have to track runners, and it's Hannah Johnson here. A lot of play there. Morella isn't able to get the ball, and it's, again, Dawkins in that moment. That's exactly how both first 2 goals. So that's essential that they are able to do so as they go throughout the second half.
Keep in mind on that goal kick there, blasted by the now goalkeeper, as we talked about in the first half, Atlee Olofsson. They did make that goalkeeper switch at half, as they typically do. The reason they do it, Olofsson terrific in her distribution, just has a cannon for a leg. She can drop it on a dime. Whenever they have free kicks in their own half or near midfield, she actually comes up to take them as well. So from a shot-stopping perspective, not much separating Olofsson and Bredick. It's what Olofsson gives with the ball at her feet in the second half when they need a goal, whether it's to come back or it's to extend their lead. That's why they like her, the Notre Dame transfer, as a second half keeper.
Well, and something that Kim Masur said is he likes possession. He wants to dictate the game with the ball, but he wants to gain territory, and that can help when you have a goalkeeper.
And again, it's Mellenhorst. Cleared by Dawkins. And it back in. Bodies just around there in the green jerseys, but through for Amaral.
So one thing we really haven't seen that we've been accustomed to seeing with Wake Forest is either Amaya Dawkins or Dempsey Brown either going between the center backs to build out or in the outside channel as a false outside back. And it can be really hard against a diamond midfield to figure out how to find your central midfielder. So they're going to want to continue to recirculate play and try to get both of those players on the ball when possible.
Wake have only allowed 3 goals this season, so it's a small sample size, but 2 of those 3 have come in the second half, so have to make sure they don't let their guard down here. Which feels, again, like a wild stat to say out loud. Only 3 goals allowed on the season, but 2 of them have come in the second half, so we're acting like that's a strike against them here tonight.
If you have to say something, I guess that's a good one, right? When you're only giving up 3 goals.
And if you ask Tony DeLuise, it's probably still 3 goals too many.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Mellenhorst pushed wide. Contact there. Gets back to her feet. Mellenhorst Lays it off. O'Mahony sneaks through. Severns offside once again. You don't have to wait too long for our next women's soccer match on the ACC network. It comes your way tomorrow. Number 3 Stanford against Clemson, who open their home conference schedule at historic Riggs Field. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern. Also available on the all-new ESPN app. Casey, you took us on our tour through some of the top-ranked teams in the ACC at halftime. We left out Stanford. No slight towards Stanford. It was just a matter of wanting to spotlight the other schools coming into conference play who are coming in off wins. Stanford coming in off of a loss. They fell from the number 1 spot, but still the number 3 ranked team in the country, and just more and more strength overall through this conference to talk about.
100%, and they've scored a plethora of goals, Stanford, and I don't think it's surprising that they've scored a lot, but the amount that they have, their offense is clicking very early in this 2025 season.
Another free kick now for Miami. Set pieces, again, a point of emphasis for this group, both defensively and offensively. They know what set pieces mean when you get into ACC play. Games often won, lost, and jockeying for position in the standings and tournament seeding. These fine moments decide games. O'Mahony puts it forward. The glancing header is over the bar. Didn't miss by much. Bree Severns got to it.
Well, Severns has been a bright spot. She's always testing the back line with verticality, right on the restraining line. She's had a couple offside, but she's looking to make a difference. This time on a set piece, times it really well, jumps moment, goes off the crossbar, and it's a really good opportunity there for Miami.
Alarcon. Hood.
No corner, team, no corner, no foul, no corner. Good, that's out.
Hood claiming she won a corner, but the assistant referee right on top of it. That ball stayed in play. Now out for a Wake Forest, well defended. Emerald swinging it wide. Brooke Miller looking for Kylie Maxwell, who they have not reintegrated since she subbed out here in the second half. That could change in a moment's notice. Explosive player. Wrestler. Here is Maxwell. Could this be the moment she works herself back into this game? Maxwell blowing by Kay. Maxwell floating it, but it'll venture out for a goal kick.
Well, and Jessica Kay will take that as long as she keeps her out wide. It's going to have to be the perfect cross under a lot of pressure. But I think the way they can get her more involved, Kylie Maxwell, Brooke Miller getting a little bit higher on the defenders that are there, that'll allow her to beat that initial line of pressure. Then line make decisions, and that opens up your front runners.
Maxwell. Alarcon. That miscommunication. It'll stay down here with the Miami throw. Quickly by Zadian. That's why this team is as good as it is defensively. They're compact, they're quick to the ball. She was shot out of a cannon there to close down on that shot to make sure it didn't happen.
Zadian stepped really well in that moment, and that's one of those ones you have to win. You cannot hesitate for a moment, and she certainly didn't. Great defending there from the center back, stepping out of her back line and applying pressure. Miami does look a little bit more lively. They haven't had a tactical change. They're still in that 4-1-3-2 with that diamond midfield. But when they're trying to build out of the back, Wake Forest, it seems like they're stepping a little bit quicker into the wide spaces to apply pressure. 2 and 3 players around the ball. So just trying to figure out how Wake Forest is trying to attack down those wide areas and trying to shut it down immediately.
In the game for Miami, number 11, Giselle Eckel.
Giselle Eckel comes on for Caroline Hood. Hood's day may be done here. Eckel came in at the end of that first half. Didn't really get a chance to see what she could bring. It was a very brief. Omaha. Getting closer now, Miami. It sneaks through. Going toward goal. It's in. Flag stay down. On the road back. And right on cue is the substitute Giselle Eckel with her first goal as a Hurricane.
Position when her teammate.
I'm with you there, Casey. It seemed like an optical illusion for the forward the ball, but when you freeze frame it there as far as when the ball is played, this will lead.
And give Eckel credit. She was working her way to get back on that she tries to work back vertically to then go vertical full.
Here again, it's a matter of when it came off of Severn's foot. Not there as she played it for Eckel, a good yard offside.
And that, so I think based on what we're seeing, we're going to see this one come back.
I think the only saving grace within that for Miami came off of a defender directly, because the naked eye initially couldn't quite tell if it clear it. Zadian incidentally played it backwards.
Correct.
That made it clear. It came off of Severns in the end. Referee Nicole Green still taking her time to make sure she's got it right. We're being told now from down under the tent that this will be overturned. The coaches are about to find out, the players as well, but we've been told it will be overturned, and it seemed pretty clear. So still a 2-0 lead coming for Wake Forest, but Casey, that's maybe a wake-up call. We heard in our chat going into halftime with Tony DeLuz, he felt they weren't clean enough. Even though they hadn't really given up many grade A scoring chances, they preserved the clean sheet. He still felt they weren't clean enough, and this is a wake-up call maybe.
It definitely should be, because they have not been on the ball and as clean as they would like, even in the second half, I don't think. And maybe it's a wake-up call for them, but I also think for Miami, it's about continuing to go. They have figured out that they can put a ball in the back of the net, and so that can serve as confidence throughout the second half.
So an opportunity for both those teams to regroup as they were over on their respective benches during the review. Halfway through this second half, glad to have you with us on the ACC Network. With Casey White, I'm Joe Malfa. Both goals for Wake Forest came in the opening 5 minutes of this game, both below. Scoreline has remained unchanged since then. And I think Casey, it's in the second half, but maybe ever since the 15-minute mark of this game, would be Miami.
Well, and that's what's so crazy about soccer is that if you didn't look at the score line, on their heels quite a bit throughout this game, but at the end of the day, it's about being effective, and that's what Wake Forest has done.
Trying to get one that'll stand and count now. The pressure coming from Mellenhorst. It's whipped out for a throw. If nothing else in the next 26 minutes, if this remains a Wake Forest victory, whatever the scoreline turns out to be, 2-0, 3-1, 4-2, it's going to be probably something Miami is proud of. That could be a springboard going into ACC play. They have really acquitted themselves well here. Lumped it again. Well, the volley, Mellenhorst had it blocked. Severns. O'Mahony. Jessica Kay back for Ava O'Mahony. Options in the box. Miscommunication with Severns and given away.
Well, this is where they need to keep it, Wake Forest, but then you just see that forced pass. It allows Miami to go the opposite direction, and Mellenhorst is growing in this game.
Mellenhorst going for goal. Emerald lets it by.
And just like we spoke about early on in this game, it just always feels like it's going to take something special to beat Valentina Amaral. She just exudes confidence in the back. She reads things extremely well. And it's no surprise that the goal that did get past her was deemed offside, because it takes something a little bit extra, because she just shows what she can do behind a back line, and that helps them in their organization.
Where they've gotten such a defensive reputation, when a goal is scored, you almost expect it foul on the build-up, be it an offside, be it a meteor strike. You just expect it to have an alternative reason as to why it happened.
Nice is that, though, to be able to have that, to know that you can make a mistake. But normally, if you're giving up a goal, you just have to clap for the person taking it, because you know up with some big saves.
Got 11 goals conceded all of last season. Floated in from the corner. Chance to just put this one through. After just giving up 11 goals all of last season, here they are. Season having only allowed 3.
Into the game for Wake Forest, number 9, Eliana Ramirez.
Eliana Ramirez into the match on the Wake Forest side. Ali Serlanga for Ava O'Mahony on the Miami side. Sarah Greiner for Sierra Alarcon as well. It's Lola Wrestler who's taken off for Eliana Ramirez.
And Eliana Ramirez had a really good showing versus Mississippi State when she came into the game, and that was their one loss of the year, but she came in and really did a good job in midfield, so not surprised to see her come into this game, try to put her foot on the ball and keep it in possession for Wake Forest.
Maxwell, Miller. Brooke Miller, good service. The header at the back post. It's Singleton. Got a piece of it there. Olafson couldn't keep it out. Allie Flanagan makes it 3-0 Demon Deacons.
As it gets, but then it's right here with Hannah Johnson. Does that hit? Did she get an advantage? That's what they're going to have to slow down and take a look at off Hannah Johnson's head.
Well, last time you and I were pretty sure right away. I'll be honest, this time I have no idea. From that first look, I have no idea. I would not want to be the officials here.
The two things they're looking at is the initial service. I mean, it looked even from the viewpoint we have, and so that's an interesting one. So she would be on if it is in fact even. Then it's when there's a challenge with the header. Does then Allie Flanagan get another more advanced position if it does touch her teammate in that moment? So it's a really close call between this one.
And remember, if it's very close, which we believe it is until we see it again and maybe our mind changes on it, we believe it's a close call. And when it's that close, referees do tend to stand with the call on the field. They're looking specifically at the potential header on from Hannah Johnson. They deem onside from the opening ball played in right there, but again, there's a secondary touch, and that opening ball is rendered useless. It's right there. That flick on. Is she on? Is she off?
That
it's
left
tough
foot,
to tell.
It's hard because we're not right straight in it, but that left foot of Allie Flanagan does appear to be beyond. Her right foot looks even with Taylor Maxwell's. So by that look, it does look like she's offside from the angle we're getting. We'll see how it goes.
I think two things at work here. Number one, I agree with you. From the look we have and just context clues, would think she's a little bit off. But again, unless it's conclusive, referees let it stand. It has to be conclusive. Was that question here? And here comes Nicole Green. And then let us know.
And she's in an on-field, in onside position the whole time.
And we have a good goal. Casey, I think close on the glanced on header there from Hannah Johnson. If down the line or the camera was positioned a little bit to the left, maybe judging it based on the video they have. In the video they have, it's inconclusive. It stands as a
yeah, 100%, and that's the thing. It has to be completely off. Obviously, they did not find that it was an obvious correction there needed.
And the emotional highs and lows of this sport. Just a few minutes ago, Miami thought they'd made it 2-1. A VAR check goes ahead and makes it 2-0 once again. Now here they go down 3-0. They think it should still only be 2-0, but instead it actually is 3-0. So, and that is this game in a nutshell. Sometimes can be cruel. Sarah Greiner trying to get it back in quick order here. Comes back out for Crosby Nicholson. Lofted in. That goal was close. Amaral gets there first. Casey, you said early in this half, it's a matter of the next goal, whether it comes from Miami to put the pressure on or Wake Forest to just about ice it. That goal goes Wake Forest way. And look, we've seen crazier things in this sport, but you would imagine the 3 points now belong to the Demon Deacons. What Miami in their opening match of conference players. Mellenhorst goes for goal. Games here tonight with the time that's left.
Exactly that. What they've been second ago, that this game can be really cruel because Miami has had some good opportunities. They've settled in, yet it's still 3-0 to Wake Forest. So what Kim Masur is going to want to see is, can they continue to press? Can they play within their identity of gaining territory through their pressure and being able to score line? There's never a guarantee that just because you play well, you'll be able to score. Battle, show resilience, and that's something that they can take with them down the line this game.
Have a good closing kick to this game for Miami, because it doesn't get any easier from here. Such is life in the ACC. They turn around in 4 days' time and take on number 2 Duke.
And that is incredibly difficult, but it is no surprise to anyone. You're going to see so many talented programs as you go through ACC play. A lot can be learned from this game for them, especially how you start games. Making sure that you are really stingy defensively is going to be something that I'm sure the whole coaching staff from Miami is going to address.
Part of the conversation, too, for Miami is a matter of efficiency. 15 shots in this game. Only 2 of those shots have been on target. Plenty of space carried through here. Eliana Ramirez lays it off. Kylie Maxwell, good touch toward goal. Out of play. Was it deflected? Yes. Corner coming for the Demon Deacons.
Here comes a wing.
Bringing back out onto the field now, as we saw in the first. Again, had been out since November 12th of 2020. We're going to get a second shift now in this second half. Curled in, good ball. A lot of traffic in front, saved off the line. Cleared further away by the Hurricanes. That close to being 4-0.
It was a really good service. Anytime you go right into that 6-yard box with so much traffic, it becomes incredibly hard for goalkeepers. And Olofsson does a really good job. It's a trajectory. It's bending in on the in. Great save because it goes down textbook into the ground. That's where your goalkeepers, and Olofsson is still up to the challenge.
Here's your Week 3 ACC Network football lineup. Starts Saturday at noon with Virginia hosting William and Mary. Then Bill Belichick in North Carolina hosts Richmond at 7:30. Virginia Tech hosts Old Dominion in Blacksburg. We cap the night with Boston College and Stanford in Palo Alto at 10:30. All 4 games also available on the all-new ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Through Noel Simmons. Nice cut inside by Sarah Greiner. Slices through it though. Mellenhorst the closest to it. Again, it's just reining things in those situations, it feels like, for Miami. They're getting to the territories, Casey, but just not capitalizing on it.
It's the efficiency piece. You mentioned it a second ago. 2 of the 15 shots on goal for Miami, but even the crosses, it's almost as if once they get to that final third, it just becomes incredibly hard to be efficient. And sometimes you feel rushed. When you feel like you're chasing the game, you're behind, you can feel like we've got to score right now. And sometimes it just takes a calm and cool head in those moments to try to get one back at a time.
For Simmons. Well, Simmons trying to plow her way through, runs into some traffic from Dina Talley.
Well, I'm the coaching staff for Wake Forest as well. How can we be better in possession? Because that's what Tony DeLuce wanted at halftime, and I don't against this Miami pressure, and they're going to know that there's more ACC opponents down the line. Now it's about a shutout. They want it. They've been working with their back line, reading service, being stingy defensively. They have a great goalkeeper behind them, but a relatively new back line. So finishing this off with not allowing a goal will be a step in the right direction.
Right on the 18. Right on the 18.
Sam Morella will trigger this free kick. Morella clipping it ahead. A lot of traffic in front. Amaral fumbles it, which she was clattered into. Referee says play on. Simmons to an open goal. It's in. Miami finally on the road back. It's 3-1.
Miami goal line number 3, Noel Simmons.
Well, this is what can happen on set pieces. When you give up them, you give that opportunity for everyone to get forward. Kim Masur talked about how he said when they get set pieces, they get to dictate how this goes. And you see that Noel Simmons, who was the goal scorer of Valentina Amaral, was down after the collision in front. But this is what can happen sometimes when you put it into an.
Why?
So the ball was served in. The question is going to be here is that Amaral comes out, and it looks like she gets fouled potentially in that moment. It falls down to Simmons. Give credit to her. Gets it on frame. That's what you ask your players to do with all that traffic in front. Just get it on frame. Greiner is the one that goes up and challenges Amaral. A lot of times you'll see that called because Amaral's completely exposed with her hands in the air. This time it's not called, and it looks to result in a goal for Simmons that ends up having a great strike.
There was a lot of contact actually made by Greiner. Amaral just came in, tried to go. It doesn't look as if we're going to have a second look at this.
I think that is definitely the decision that had to be made in that moment. Was there a lot of contact, or was it just because there was a lot of traffic that she was also fumbling the ball as she came through in that area? But that is not to take anything away from Simmons on her finish. An incredible finish from a little bit further out. So often you see players hit that over the top or hit a player, and she does a great job just to strike through it and put it on frame.
Here for Miami, and make it 3-1. Noel Simmons with the goal. Second of the season for the freshman, bright young talent. So runner-up in her district's player of the year as a senior this past season. Scored 29 goals as a senior. First team all-county from Boynton Beach, Florida. I wouldn't consider this one done and dusted yet, as far-fetched as it may sound, considering Wake Forest's defensive track record. Now 9 of Miami's 14 goals this season have come in the second half. 3 of those goals have come in the 80th minute or later. We're getting into that territory now. Lumped forward again from the free kick.
Well, you know that statistic is something they can be saying as well. It's like, hey, we know we can score late in these games.
And if this does go on to finish with this scoreline, or whether or not Wake Forest tacks on, the point being, as long as Miami stays at 1, this is actually going to put a massive dent, Casey, in Wake Forest goals against average this season. It's going to go from 0.43 to 0.50. Coming for the Hurricanes.
And they're being rewarded for their play. They're just playing on every ball right now. That can certainly happen when you get a lead, but Wake Forest needs to be really on a set piece. Now they have a corner kick opportunity. The service needs to.
I say that in jest. The Wake Forest almost had a half a goal now, but Wake Forest could be a dent into that, punched away by Amaral. Important to distinguish between last year's Wake Forest team and this year's turnover. And we chat with Tony DeLuz about it. He said this group has done a understanding that this is not last year's team, but also understanding that because of last year's team, every team you face this year is going to give you their best shot. You have a target on your back. You have to understand that. And I think this Wake Forest team is rising to the occasion. It feels like they are understanding the situation they're in, and they are taking care of business game in, game out. It's going to change as they go further into ACC play and the competition level steps up. But I think everybody involved in this Wake Forest program has to be proud so far at the start of this season.
I think you're right on that, and it's such a talented group, starting off super quickly, getting a 3-0 lead. That doesn't just happen. This is a very good Miami team, and so Wake Forest doing really well in this one. They're going to be challenged through these last 15 minutes or so because Miami's going to give everything they have to make them uncomfortable, but they'll be battle-tested.
Maxwell looking back post. Ali Flanagan will track it down. Feeds it through. There's a chance there for Eliana Ramirez.
Here the game for Wake Forest, number 26.
And chance back in for Hannah Johnson. Taryn Chance.
And right now, just causing problems for Wake Forest in that middle third. It's hard to keep possession, and now the foul's called, and they'll have another set piece opportunity.
Minutes remaining. Miami fell behind 3-0 after they were down 2-0 in the opening 5 minutes. It was better the two sides for the better part of an hour. So Wake Forest made it 3-0. Quick response from Miami to cut it back to 3-1. Noel Simmons scored that goal, delivering here now. Settled on the volley, pulled wide. Does stay in play. An errant effort from Moira Flynn. A substitution coming now. So with that, we'll take a look at this wacky second half that we've seen. The ball has gone in 3 times, only twice as it counted.
Well, this was the first one right here as Akgol gets it on frame, gets it in goal. It's called offside. And then the same thing would happen on this end. This one would be ruled onside. It would count for Allie Flanagan with that goal. But Miami continued to push, and Noelle Simmons steps up in this moment off the set piece with a brilliant strike to bring it to 3-1.
Sevens back into the mix now for Miami. A time wasting warning here to Wake Forest. And the irony of the situation, it was blown dead for time wasting, and now she's trying to get the ball in quickly here. Brooke Miller, but she can't do so until they start the clock again and the whistle blows. There we go. Speed from Allie Flanagan on display. Good tackle, tracking back by Emily Simpson.
Really nice there in recovery. Yeah, you can see the pace that Allie Flanagan possesses. And when there's 2 defenders, sometimes you get a little confused of who's taking the ball, who's taking the player, and that happens. She takes advantage of it. But these are the moments that Wake Forest really can continue to grow in. It's where you just have to grind out wins, because Miami is not making this easy for them as they continue to push forward.
Faircloth, she earned a corner, she did.
Here comes a Wake Forest corner kick. Taking the corner, number 19, Sierra Scythe.
Scythe goes short. Faircloth back to Scythe, now from a better angle. Scythe delivering. Holding strong Miami. Brooke Miller.
And I like seeing this from Miami. They're just continuing to press, and you're right, good attacking moves from Miller to get out of that pressure. But Miami certainly has not stopped, and that's something that Kim Busser talked about, was just the energy and enthusiasm that is a non-negotiable for his team. And you're seeing that down the stretch, even with a 2-goal disadvantage.
He said there's 5 things that his teams have to be. He's been preaching it since he got here back in 2023, in December of 2023. They have to be tough, fit, competitive, hardworking, and coachable. 5 things that they can fully control. They can bring energy, they can bring emotion. And if you have all those things, you have a chance in every game you play, regardless of the opponent, regardless of the talent level. Non-negotiables that you talk about there, Casey.
They are, and I really like the 5th one, the coachability piece, because it's not just about nodding your head, it's about being able to take on information and apply it and put it into games. And he said he's been so happy with his team this year on their adaptability in game and being able to adjust to their opposition, and that's part of that coachability that he demands out of his program.
Maxwell. Mellenhorst for Simmons. Letting it fly here, but off target. The strike was Crosby Nicholson. We're starting to see a little bit more of interplay between Mellenhorst and Simmons and those players in the attacking third for Miami that just wasn't really there in the first half. They've really done a good job of growing into this game as a whole.
They're starting to get more numbers around the ball. It starts with their defensive effort. If you commit numbers around the ball defensively, then when you win it, you immediately have players that you can play in combination with, and we're seeing that. I think Simmons has been a big part of that. She obviously got the goal, but now and she's connecting with those players around her.
Serlanga. Now from Miami.
Starting to realize they need that second goal to make Wake Forest really uncomfortable, because barring just some really great chances or some mistakes at the back, it still is getting to be harder to overcome with the clock ticking down.
Change coming now for Wake Forest. They've done a good job, too, of slowing this game down. After that goal was scored by Miami, maybe the game is on a knife's edge, and you can see a path back into this game for Miami if they double down on that goal. Now the pressure's on Wake Forest, but ever since then, Wake Forest have taken the air out of the ball. They've started substituting a bit more intentionally. They've been slower to get the ball in play. They've been swinging it around the back. They've done everything you need to do. They've checked every box in slowing this game down.
And every coach will tell you it's those minutes right after a goal is conceded or scored that are so critical, because if you're the team that scored, you want to try to push to get that second goal.
A yellow card has been assessed to Wake Forest, number 9, Elliot.
Too late.
Here coming from behind, then stepping a little bit aggressively there. She makes the first challenge, which is fine, but then kicks out her leg for that second challenge and earns the yellow.
Edge of the area, blocked by Dinatati. Good strike put in by Simpson. She got it cleanly. Would have been curious to see where that one might have ended up. Now chipped through off the back heel of Severns, who might have been in.
But there's an immediate counter pressing as soon as they lose the ball. Miami is just hunting and chasing there defensively. And if you're Kim Astor, you got to be happy to see that, because it's making Wake Forest uncomfortable. And they're a team that is really good in cleaning possession.
Just under 7 to go. Settled. Again blocked at the edge of the area, this time by Dempsey Brown, who clears. How many of those now have been blocked by Demon Deacon swarming at the edge of the area?
Oh, it's critical, and you've got to have players covering the players that are stepping to block as well, in case there's a little deception to go forward.
Severns out for a throw. 21 shots now for Miami, but just 3 of them have been on target. You compare that to 50. Nearly half of their shots on target. Efficiency has been the name of the game in this one. That's why they lead 3-1.
Here the game for Miami, number 18, Lexi Lerwick.
The all-new ACC PM, Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7 Eastern, and Friday from 5 to 7 Eastern, hosted by Kelsey Riggs. Stuff right here on the ACC. It through, bounding around, loose in front, now cleared. Good step this from Simpson. Emerald able to keep it in play, avoid conceding the corner.
Simpson kept her feet through all of that. She did a really good job. And then it looked like the last one she might have taken a knock on, but really good attacking from the center back. You just hope she's okay.
Writhing here in pain. Masur out to check on his player. Since the 32nd minute of this game, Miami have outshot Wake 18-7. They've had a lot of opportunities. They've done a good job of generating chances, but some concern now. Emily Simpson You can see clearly in a world of pain and looking at that right leg. You mentioned it, Casey, as she worked through the bit of contact there. And as far as amazing that she kept her feet and was able to get something off in the end. Or perhaps in the aftermath.
Yeah, they've definitely been on the front foot, and you can see that even from her as a center back, wanting to go forward, wanting to impact, and obviously down from the challenge. But you mentioned about Miami out shooting Wake since the 32nd minute from 18 to 7. A lot of that has to do with two things. One is that Miami knows they have to get back into the game, so they're intentional about it. But also Wake Forest doesn't have to push a whole lot of numbers forward because they've earned that lead. And so there's that balance there between both teams that has resulted in this game. .517 the clock stopped at, as the concern is Emily Simpson, the junior from Cambridge, England, spent the last 2 years at Arizona State. Season for Miami, her first season as a Hurricane after 2 years. Nationals Academy, played for England at the youth level, a key cog in terms of not only what they do defensively, but playing off the back line. Plays a great first ball through, can step up and dribble and take space herself, which you saw before this injury. That's the last thing you want to see, closing moments of what has been a good game between these two teams. Wake Forest reigning runners-up, making it to the national championship game last year. Miami, one of the upstarts. Open game that's been end-to-end, which both coaches expected it to be. I hate to see moments of it. Well, Emily Simpson was going into this, and I don't know, it just looks like it comes down a little bit awkwardly there with some pressure behind her. Just a very awkward moment there as she goes for that shot on goal.
There was no contact from the defender. It was just an awkward spill of her own as she sort of folded into herself with the momentum of the shot. Well, her health crucial here for Miami. And they bug far too much already here this season. One of the things to touch on it yet, Giovanna Canali is their top offensive player. Is likely to cost her this season as she recovers, and that's a player that Ken Masur just would have loved to see within the group this year, with how many new dynamic faces have come in. Year 2 of this new foundation, new program that he's setting forth. To be missing Canali, other injuries as well. You hate to see Simpson go down, who is that key player on that back line, but now right out of that, looking for an opportunity. Amaral with it.
Canali had an amazing freshman year, a young player that was really their entire attack last year, just missing obviously a piece, but a really big career coming down the line for that player.
That's why it's very easy to see a path forward to success for Miami. When you look at just what they have internally and the foundation they are led, players they're getting in, how it stacks up with the rest of the ACC is a different story. The ACC is a beast. We know this. 7 ranked teams in the top 25. Handful of those in the top 10. You've got team number 2, team number 3, team number 5, team number 7. Need I go on? So as good as Miami is, so much of it, Casey, depends on what the rest of the ACC looks like. But they are certainly building here, the Hurricanes.
100%. I think it's positive steps in the right direction with Ken Masur and his coaching staff, and they're more competitive than they have been in these last 2 years, and so that's definitely something that could be a bright future for them. Like you said, the ACC is just an incredible conference.
Carried ahead by Taryn Chance, wisely taken toward the corner.
Well, this is just keeping this, drawing a foul. Those are the little things that a young team how to see out games as well, because this hasn't been an easy game for Wake Forest, but at the end of the getting the win, and that's all that matters. So these little moments you learn from.
About to be 5-0-1 at home this season. 1-1 at home last year. In the midst of that, a 15-game came tumbling down when they lost late in the season against Duke. Duke, as mentioned, will be the next opponent for Miami. That'll be in Coral Gables, so they get them at home, which is a positive. The number 2 team in the country. What's next for Wake Forest this weekend? It's home against USC Upstate, and then the schedule gets a bit more difficult from there. They'll host a Virginia Tech team that's receiving votes on the 18th of this month. Difficult road trip to Boston College on the 21st, and then the big one this month for Wake Forest comes on September 25th on the road against Duke.
One other thing we're seeing from Wake Forest that can help them down a system change, going into more of a 4-4-2 and having Sierra Scythe play off minded midfielder than some of the forwards that were in there. So just doing what it takes to be able to see out this game with Miami.
Severns looking for Simmons. Simmons trying to create space. Knocked away by Zadean. Horace going for goal. And just a courtesy look from Amaral. Now with a minute to go, it's in hand now for Wake Forest. They're going to start this year with a win in conference and 3 points. A conference they finished in second place in last year, losing in the semifinal of the tournament in a shootout to Florida State. And this is a year that was supposed to be a rebuild year, but it's looking more like a retool year for the Demon Deacons.
They've been really great throughout this year, and I think tonight is a really good test. They get the win, but it's not without adversity, and that's what this team needs as they look to compete in ACC play. But a lot of real positives for this Wake Forest team, and still so much more that they can continue to grow in and be better and evolve as well. So it could be a really scary team down the stretch.
Two goals in the first 5 minutes from Lola Wrestler. That set the tone for the night. Wake Forest. Allie Flanagan goal. Miami pulled one back for Noelle Simmons, but as the clock winds down, it's going to be a 3-1 victory for the number 18 Wake Forest Demon Deacons to open ACC play in 2025.
This was a really interesting game. It had a little bit of everything. Wake Forest, the more efficient team of the two, but Miami shows some really bright spots, the way they defend, how they generate opportunities going forward, but still a good win at home for Wake Forest.
10th straight unbeaten at home. A perfect 12-0-0 at home all time now against Miami. We are standing by now with Lola Wrestler. Lola, it's Joe Malfa, Casey White up in the booth. We had a great conversation with their head coach, Tony DeLuz, this week, just about your growth as a player from last year to this year. Not playing last year, now featuring this year. And the thing he kept coming back to, he said, you just do whatever the coaches ask of you. So how did it feel to get rewarded tonight with those 2 goals?
Yeah, it felt really good. Honestly, like starting ACC play at home, I thought that we came out really strong, and I thought it was really good for the group to keep moving forward.
Well, congrats on your first ACC win as a group. A lot in this game, got some goals, got tested defensively. What can you say about your team and how you're performing as a group?
Yeah, we definitely still have a lot to improve on. We're not at the level that we want to be at, but we're very competitive, and we have fought these.
Welcome back, Lola. You're back. You can start over again, but you got to enjoy that.
Yeah, obviously, obviously we're not at the level we want to be at yet, but we still have grown a lot as a group together throughout this season, and we have a lot going forward for us this season, so we're super excited.
Lola, I'll say this to you, because the way your season's going, the way you're playing, you might be doing some of these interviews more often. Usually we ask you a third question, but you're soaking wet and your team is celebrating, so go enjoy that instead.
Thank you.
Lola Ressler, 2 goals this evening, made it 2-0 Wake Forest, and they go on to win it 3-1. Casey, it was thorough for the Demon Deacons.
It really was a very efficient performance from Wake Forest, something they can take down the stretch and build confidence from. Miami as well, just getting that last goal, I think, to make it 3-1 is something they can take going forward.
They'll do it for us here this evening from Spry Stadium. Coming up next, ACC PM with Kelsey Riggs Cup. The opening night of play in the ACC, and the 18th ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons get it done 3-1 over Miami. For the crew that makes this possible, broadcast partner Casey White, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now, and welcome to the gauntlet that is ACC Women's Soccer Conference play.
Hi, I'm Justin Walters.